Let's remember 2021. You open Twitter and everyone is talking about monkeys, expensive monkeys at that. People you respect suddenly put up an avatar with a primitive drawing of a primate wearing a cap. And they call it digital status. They pay tens and thousands of dollars for it, and you're thinking, am I missing something, or has just the whole world gone crazy? Today, just a few years later, the same word NFT causes not delight, but a disgusted grin. 95% of collections are worth $0 hairs, and the monkeys have lost 90% of their value. Marketplaces are laying off employees, and the word NFT has become synonymous with scam, bubble, and total collective insanity. How did this happen? How did technology, which was called the future of property, turned into a symbol of greed and stupidity? Let's be honest, the NFT technology itself was not a scam, it's just a smart contract that binds a unique identifier to some digital or physical object. In theory, it is a useful thing for diplomas, tickets, and logistics, but in practice, what happened is what happens to any new technology when it meets human greed and misunderstanding, and of course marketers who promise mountains of gold. And let's start with a short story. The first NFT appeared long before you heard that word, in 2014 on the Counterpart blockchain. Experiments, no one gave them any importance. Bitcoin was worth several $100s back then, and no one was interested in pictures. The first serious experiment with tokenized art happened at the DEF CON 2015 conference. It was called Etheria. Someone created a virtual world where it was possible for you to buy and sell digital plots. And they sold it and forgot about it for several years. And of course, no one knew that this was the harbinger of a boom. But the first real explosion happened at the end of 2017. CryptoKitties, a game where you buy, breed, and sell digital cats. And I know it sounds really stupid, but these cats have taken over the entire Ethereum network. Commissions skyrocketed, transactions hung for hours, and the developers of other projects hated CryptoKitties, but the creators of the game were awash in money. And back in 2017, it seems like a fun experiment. People paid thousands of dollars for a virtual cat with pink ears, and everyone was laughing and having fun, but some people said the bubble will burst, it's just toys. And the bubble really burst in 2018. Prices have dropped, CryptoKitties are forgotten now. The story seemed to be over, but in reality, it was just the beginning. The year is 2021. The whole world is in quarantine. People have free money, incentives, savings accumulated over a year without restaurants and travel, and there is free time, and of course, there is FOMO. The fear of missing out on opportunity. Ideal conditions for a bubble. In March 2021, an event takes place that blows everything up. The artist known as Beeple is auctioning his work called Every Days, the first 5,000 days at Christie's. A collage of 5,000 images that he created every day for 13 years. Price $69 million. And do you see what happened there? Christie's, an auction house with a 250-year history that sells Picasso and Van Gogh, suddenly sold a JPEG for $69 million at that, and the whole world gasped. If Christie's is selling a digital picture, it means it's not a joke, it is actually serious. The wave was immediately picked up. Do you remember the Nyan cat meme? A flying cat with a Pop-Tart instead of body that leaves a rainbow trail. Someone put it up for auction as an NFT, and it sold for almost $600,000. Imagine that, for a gift that you've seen a million times and you could just download it for free. Hundreds of thousands of people suddenly realized, oh, so you can sell any pictures? Can I do that too? And they of course tried it. Artists who hadn't been able to sell a single work for years were suddenly earning thousands. Scammers who had never painted suddenly generated 10,000 monkeys with different caps and sold them for millions. An ideal narrative has been created. Marketers have called this a digital ownership. You're not just buying a picture, you're buying proof that you are the owner of that picture on the blockchain. And it's like an artist's signature on canvas, only digital. It sounds convincing. doesn't it? But there's just one problem. The image itself, JPEG or PNG, doesn't matter, it is not stored on the blockchain. The blockchain is simply too expensive to store images. Only the IRL link is stored in the blockchain, the address where the picture is located. And this address may be broken, the server may crash, the company that hosted the image may just close, and your digital ownership will turn into 404 link. But of course, in 2021, no one thought about it. Everyone was thinking about the price. And how did the inflation mechanism work? Very simple. Venture capital funds have invested billions of dollars in marketplaces such as OpenSea, Rarible, and LooksRare. It was profitable for them to have people buy and sell. The larger the trading volume, the higher the commission. The higher the fees, the more expensive the startup is valued. And therefore, people just warming up the hype. The influencers came after them. Logan Paul bought a monkey for $160,000. Jimmy Fallon discussed NFT with Paris Hilton. On The Tonight Show, Snoop Dogg has released his collection, and it seems that everyone who meant something was already an NFT. And if you are not in NFT, you are a loser, my friend. Then FOMO turned on. An ordinary person sees how some guy bought a monkey for $10,000, then a month later he sold it for $100,000. And he thinks, that's what I want too. But he doesn't understand that 95 out of 100 such sales are insider deals or just pure luck. He only sees success. And so he buys. He buys a monkey or a cat or a pixelated landscape, it doesn't matter. He buys not because he likes art, but because he hopes that there will be another fool who will buy it even more expensive. And this is a classic theory of the bigger fool. It works as long as there are other fools. And by the way, if you want to buy and trade cryptocurrencies, I would like to remind you again about the sponsor of my channel, which I used before the channel was created. OKX Exchange is the best and most transparent solution for traders today, and if you want to join and get welcome bonuses while supporting my channel, see the link in the description box down below. Now let's talk about 3 types of scams that have flourished on this wave. The first and most brazen one is a rug pull. The scheme is pretty simple. The team is announcing a cool project. They promise us incredible roadmaps, metaverse tokens, merge, parties, just beautiful pictures. Then collects the pre-sale and people are throwing Ethereum in it, and when its NAV is collected, the team just disappears, deletes Discords and deletes websites and Twitter. The money goes through mixers and it cannot be returned. The most high-profile case is the Boller Ape Club. They promised monkeys and gold chains, raised $2.7 million, and that's it. They didn't even start drawing. They just took the money and left, and thousands of people suffered. Some invested their last savings, hoping that the monkeys would just shut up in price. And what did the police do? Honey, what are you talking about? There is no police force in the decentralized world. The second type of scam, a wash trading. It is when basically the owner of the collection creates dozens of fake wallets and starts trading with himself. He sells his own NFTs to himself, paying a commission for each cycle, but it creates the illusion of high volume and price growth. Imagine you go to the marketplace, you see a collection that has a trading volume of 1,000 Ethereum in the last 24 hours. Wow, you think something popular you should definitely take, but you don't know that 900 of this 1,000 is just one person who trades with himself, losing 5% on commissions but hoping to lure new real buyers. A Chainalysis study conducted at the peak of the boom revealed shocking figures. On some platforms, up to 1/3 of trading volumes were artificial. 1/3, imagine that. So every third dollar you saw in the statistics was just fake, designed to deceive you. The third type is phishing and hacking. The attackers hacked celebrity profiles on Twitter, and on behalf of, I don't know, like say Bill Murray or Shaquille O'Neal, they wrote,
"I'm launching my ETF project, click on the link and connect your wallet."
People clicked on the link, connected the wallet, and they signed a transaction that said, get a free NFT, but in fact, it was a transaction to transfer all the money to the scammers. And just in a few minutes, the account was emptied and nothing can be returned because, as you know, blockchain does not roll back the transactions. The most famous case is Bill Murray, the Hollywood star. His profile was hacked and a fake drop was launched. Fans have transferred hundreds of thousands of dollars, and Murray is still suing the marketplaces trying to get the money back, or at least prove that he was not the organizer of this whole scam. His lawyers say that Bill doesn't even know what NFT is. Why has this whole market become an incubator for bubbles? Because the entry threshold was ridiculously low. Anyone who knows how to use an image generator could create a collection. So let me explain how it worked. You take 10 attributes, hats, eyes, clothes, background, accessories, and you generate 10,000 combinations of that uploaded to IPFC, and you create a smart contract. There are designers for this, you don't need to be a programmer, and then you're giving the collection a big name, and then you are the creator of NFT. Congratulations! Next is the business of marketing. You find an influencer with 100,000 followers or more, you pay him 5 Ethereum, and here's him posting something like, "Wow guys, this is the best project of the year, identity vibe, you can't skip it." And your 10,000 generated images, each worth 0.1 Ethereum, are starting to sell. People were throwing away their monthly salaries on these pictures because someone said it was an investment, because they were afraid of being late, and because the neighbor already had monkey but you didn't, and that meant you are off topic. The herd instinct worked at full capacity. The culmination came at a late 2021 and early 2022. Prices for top collections were breaking records, and Bored Ape Yacht Clot monkeys with various accessories cost $200,000 or $300,000 a piece. And their owners were someone like Justin Bieber, Stephen Curry, Eminem, and they were in a virtual club where only monkey owners were allowed. And it seemed like it would never end, that NFT is a new asset class that will only grow, and that monkeys will become digital Rolex, and that in 10 years everyone will be dreaming of the very collection that you bought for 10 Ethereum and now it costs 1,000. And then the market, boom, collapsed. 2022 was a bear market in all its glory. Bitcoin dropped from 69,000 to 16 Ethereum, from 4,800 to 1,000. Investors were withdrawing money. There was a shortage of liquidity on NFT, and who will buy a monkey for $200,000 when the whole market is in red? The best collections lost 90 to 95% of their value. Monkeys that cost $300,000 became $15,000 or $20,000. And the free collections, which were sold at 0.1 Ethereum, dropped to 0.001, and that is zero basically. Mint or creation fees were often higher than the total cost. And of course the haters started laughing loudly. "We told you it was a bubble, you bought links, pictures, loser." But of course it didn't make it any easier for those who have lost their money, because some have invested their savings in NFT, some borrowed money, others poured in retirement savings, and some even used the money set aside for the children's education. And the main blow to the industry came from where it was not expected. In 2024, OpenSea, the largest marketplace, announced that it was making copyright verification optional, and that is, now anyone could copy any collection, upload it with the same name, and sell a fake. And why, you may ask? Because they were sued. Thousands of lawsuits from artists whose work was copied without permission. Defendants were investors, marketplaces, data aggregators. OpenSea has decided that it is easier not to just check at all than to check and then be responsible for errors. The result was a wave of fake copies. Dozens of clones appeared on any popular collection. Same picture, same name, but the smart contract was different. And of course, newbies couldn't tell the difference and they bought fakes, they lost money, confidence in the market has completely collapsed at that moment. And Mark Zuckerberg, the same Mark Zuckerberg who renamed Facebook Meta and invested tens of billions in the metaverse, he also tried to integrate NFT. He promised that in his virtual world, people would buy digital clothes, art, houses, and after spending billions, the result is practically zero. In 2024, Meta quietly shut down the NFT program without making loud statements. They just stopped developing it. And it is inconvenient to admit failure, of course, so they pretended that they just changed priorities. But of course, everyone understood. If Zuckerberg couldn't do it with his budget, then the market is really dead. And so what do we have today? 95% of all NFT collections are worth $0. Not a little bit, not like a couple of dollars, zero. No one will pay a cent for them. Even those who sincerely believed in the technology and bought for the love of art, they cannot sell anything. But there are still a few projects that survived the winter. The Bored Ape Yacht Club, the one with the monkeys, it's still worth something. CryptoPunk's Pixel Face is one of the first NFTs, they still hold a place. But these are units, projects that had real community. A cult, not marketing. For comparison, at the peak of the boom, there were tens of thousands of active collections, and today, maybe 100. The rest are dead zombies. Their creators are gone, their Discord servers are abandoned, and their Twitter accounts have been silent for years now. And you now have a link to a picture in your wallet that no one will ever buy. And now about the hurtful truth. The NFT technology itself was not a scam. Smart contracts, unique identifiers, and linking digital to physical are useful things. It is actually used in logistics to track the origin of goods, in diplomas to verify authenticity, and of course in supply chain management to eliminate counterfeiting. But NFT as an investment bubble and cultural phenomenon is a failure, a flop. Total humiliating failure. It showed how easily human greed, misunderstanding, and FOMO can be turned into money. How marketers sell you a link to a picture with a smile, convincing you that this is an asset, and how influencers advertise projects they don't know anything about, as long as you pay them enough. In 2021, the word NFT was trending on Twitter every single day. Today, if you mention NFT in a serious conversation, people just turn away. It became a stigma. You're either a scammer or a victim of a scam. There is no third option. So, what's left of all this madness? Millions of people with monkeys in their wallets, millions of dollars lost, and a bitter taste after this experience. And of course, a deep confidence that the next time someone says this is the future of finance, you need to look not at the price, but at the technology. Not for the hype, but for a real usefulness. And of course, remember, if it's too good to be true, it is probably a scam. And did this technology have at least one honest side? Yeah. NFT has opened a new sales channel for real artists. Artists who have been fighting for closed gallery doors for years were suddenly able to sell their work directly to collectors. No intermediaries, no agents, no gallery commissions. There have been cases where unknown digital artists have earned thousands of dollars from honest sales. People liked their work, people didn't buy them for speculation, but because they wanted to own this piece. And these stories are real, but they drown in an ocean of scam and speculation. And the gaming industry, by the way, has also tried to use NFT. The idea, you buy a game item and it's really yours. You can sell it, exchange it, or transfer it to another game. It sounds cool, but in practice, players have come to hate NFT because the developers have turned the game into a casino where you can't play properly without buying tokens. Today, most major game studios have quietly abandoned NFT or hidden them deep under the carpet. The brand is too toxic. The word NFT reduces sales, and no one wants to be associated with the bubble that has burst in front of everyone's eyes. To summarize, NFT technology is just a tool, like a knife. You can use it to cut bread, or you can kill with it. It all depends on whose hands it ends up in. But in 2021, this knife fell into the hands of marketers, speculators, and scammers, and they turned it into a weapon against gullible people. NFT as an investment bubble became a perfect storm. Unprecedented money printing during COVID, bored people with extra money, FOMO, cheap collection tools, influencers for money, and complete lack of regulation. Each factor reinforced the other. Millions of people have lost money, some lost small amounts, some lost everything they had. Stories about people who sold apartments to buy monkeys are not just stories, they are unfortunately real, and they ended the same way. Depression, trials, and sometimes worse than that. The technology will still continue to live in niche applications, but the word NFT will never sound neutral anymore. It is forever branded with the shame of a bubble that has burst. And you know, the irony is that those who organized this circus, the founders of marketplaces, the first miners, the creators of Bored Ape, they left with billions because they sold at the peak. And those who came last suffered the most, of course, ordinary people who just wanted not to miss the opportunity of the century. So if someone starts talking to you about a revolutionary technology, digital property, and the future that's already here, just take a break, stop for a moment, and remember 2021. Remember the monkeys and remember how it all ended. And then ask yourself, where is the real value and where is there just another way to transfer money from your pocket to someone else's? Because the only thing the NFT boom has taught us is that people still believe in easy money and that there will always be someone who will take advantage of this faith. The bubbles are bursting, but the memory of them remains. And we all know that the next generation is going to make the same mistakes, but they will just call it something else. And it's not because the whole human race is stupid, it's because the hope of a miracle is stronger than any history lesson. And it is this hope, not technology, not art, not innovation, that has been sold all this time. The monkeys were just the package. And the commodity inside is the belief that you are not late and life is about to change.